What's going on, gang? It's your boy DBGTX and welcome back. We are here today to talk about something very important. And what that very important thing is called Xenoverse 3. Of course, we've already heard and I've already had plenty of discussions in regards to what Xenoverse 3 entails. I hope the Xenoverse 3 is as big of a jump from Xenoverse 1 and 2. All right, well, I want to go ahead and discuss the jump because there's definitely going to be a jump. First and foremost, the one thing that needs to be discussed is the development of the actual game, timeline of the actual game and everything. Now, first and foremost, Xenoverse 3's been in development apparently for the past 3 years, which goes along with the timeline of when we discussed that final DLC, DLC 10, DLC 12. When they released DLC 12, it sounded like Xenoverse at that point was going to be pretty much done. Everybody knew immediately that okay, the game is done for good. They're no longer doing anything but raids or whatever, and it sounded like that. But then everybody was like, well, we can't really say that. Or we can't really specify that, or whatever the case might be, right? Like at that point, they were like, we don't know if we're gonna come out with anything, whatever. Matter of fact, they were like, just Xenoverse 3 started being made about 2019 or so, right? Prior to the pandemic, and because of the pandemic, that got probably like put to an immediate halt. For example, you have the whole thing where you have to like release some kind of thing for each contract and so on and so forth. And so because of that, they turned around and just said, all right, let's go ahead and give like some more DLC. So probably that's the reason why we ended up getting more DLC. Once you put that whole timeline there, it kind of makes sense why it got pushed back. The only way Xenoverse 3 is going to be released is going to be completely and solely on the next gen. They're not going to go ahead and withhold themselves by putting a bind on or constricting themselves in the sense of releasing the game on both the current gen and the next gen, because at the end of the day, what that does, it hinders the possibilities of the game. So look at it this way. Remember when GTA 4 or GTA 5 was announced, right? GTA 5 was very ambitious, and yeah, they released it for the PlayStation 3 or whatever the case might be, but they were like, yo, we wanted to do so much more that when they released the PlayStation 4 versions and stuff like that, the PlayStation 4 version, it was like damn near a complete different experience, right? Which became the fundamental experience because everybody already had a PlayStation 4. When you get, a PlayStation 4 Pro and you get like the actual GTA 5 PlayStation 4 edition or whatever the definitive edition, then at that point, what ends up happening is that they don't want to go ahead and have that mistake. It's a mistake. It'll be a mistake to release it on current gen. And yeah, there's gonna be people that may not have a PS5 at that point, and they may not be able to. But at that point, it's really gotta ask yourself this question: with 3.5 years in on the PlayStation, that is halfway life already of a gaming system before they come out with a pro version or whatever, unless they're trying to go 10 years with the PlayStation 5, which I highly doubt, that kind of thing or whatever, unless they're trying to go that route or whatever, at that point, you should be able to go ahead and order one, and it shouldn't be that hard. You understand what I'm saying? If anything, we got to take that part right there, okay? And based off of that, it makes perfect sense. You don't have the hindrance of of having to like deal with two generations of PlayStation or anything like that. Sucks for those who have PlayStation 4 won't get it, but at that time there's gonna be a majority who will have PlayStation 5. And I guess you guys eventually you guys will get it. A lot of people want to talk about certain things like, well, what's gonna be the difference in Xenoverse? First of all, I could tell you guys, the quality of animation that we've been seeing from the Xenoverse staff or whatever is just a look at what we're gonna be getting as a norm thing going on. We've gotten more and more cutscenes that have pretty much excelled and from the previous one. Particularly if you look one between the Gohan Goku, and then now you see the one right now with the Ultra Instinct. Those animated cutscenes like that are going to be pretty much enhanced to be not in variable frame rates, but probably 60 frames to 120 frames per second, which is what the PlayStation 5 and the current gen as in PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X can handle. That's going to make a world of difference, because then the animation cutscenes are going to be greatly increased based off, that much quality effort into the animation department, into how much polygons and all that good stuff that you can put in there. At that point, we're also looking at launch is going to be like blowing all these video games out of the water, because the budget is going to be tossed into this game so this game can have everything. That's literally what I'm saying. So stay tuned. That's what you're going to get. You're going to have a game that is going to... This is the biggest budget that any Dragon Ball video game will ever have. If they mess up in regards to what they add and what they don't add or whatever, trust me, it's gonna be known by the people. There's a lot of things that need to be addressed. If the leaks are correct and they're addressing what there needs to be addressed, then that means that... Oh no, he's stuck again. Then that means one thing and one thing only. Probably the best budgeted Dragon Ball Z game that we know. So the character models are gonna look better. You understand what I'm saying? I can see the questions that we've been asking and the requests that we've been asking being answered. And when I say that, I'm talking about like the whole animated hair, the whole hair spiking up kind of deal. There's a lot of things to consider. We're also gonna have different transformations that we haven't been privy to in this game, based off just like certain criterias and whatnot that they couldn't go ahead and not just get their heads around to, but more because there's no next stage. And then now that the next stage has been announced in regards to Dragon Ball, we know what the next stages are. And if you don't want to know what those stages are, I'd say skip to the later episodes of this video and all that good stuff. But there is a later stage past Ultra Instinct and all that good stuff, and due to that, those characters are going to be animated completely different. We're gonna have those gonna be addressed like either in a later pack for this game, but we're gonna have those character transformations being able to be accessible by us. They're going to probably come up with new transformations for the Earthlings and things like that of the sort as well, to make it Dragon Ball content just be that much diverse. The biggest thing that you got to consider in the changes, besides the character models and all that, is going to be particularly the hub. The hub is going to be expanded to... The hub is going to be expanded to greater heights. And when I say greater heights, what that means is that we're not going to have one particular hub anymore, and going to like step by step and going to different places or whatever the case might be. Everything is going to be essentially together. I've said that plenty of time, that the next Xenoverse is going to be such a big world that going from place to place is going to be pretty much a tougher deal. Ooh, customization key 19, let's go! We're gonna have a whole entire world. I still said that. And when I say an entire world, I mean like we're going to have pretty much everything put together. There's not going to be any more teleportation mechanisms or anything like that. There will be teleportation mechanism in regards to you getting from point A to point B if you want to do that, but you won't have the transitional screens. You're not gonna have the load time. Imagine if you ever played the new Ratchet and Clank on the PlayStation 5, kind of like that. That's going to, with the hub being changed like that, we're gonna have much more interactivity with everything that we do in the world. including more missions, more side quests to do, more events that are probably going to be added. I'm hoping that finally the next iteration of Xenoverse adds mini games. That is right. I am really hoping that mini games get added. We can play things outside of the Coliseum. Outside of Hero Coliseum, we could go ahead and play, like the mini games that Kakarot had. Maybe doing the racing from the Piccolo, or the Piccolo driving and all that stuff against Goku. Maybe some baseball, kind of like little things like that would be a nice addition besides all the fights and so forth. I think that the raid missions probably could get a tune-up and change for the better in regards to what the models are going to be able to do, so on and so forth. So those are the things that you have to look at and know that will be incoming in regards to Xenoverse 3 when that does release, because obviously that's why, again, it's only next gen. Without it being like that, they would have to give up half of those asset dreams that they want for the game and the load times and all that good stuff, and they really don't wish to do so. So look at how Spider-Man released Miles Morales, which Miles Morales by all means is an amazing game. Check out Miles Morales if you haven't played it. Both PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5 editions are amazing. Nonetheless, the PlayStation 4 suffers from some frame rates, and even though it's been fixed and all that, at the end of the day, what they ended up deciding to do was that the following Spider-Man that's coming out is only on PlayStation 5 and I believe PC at that point, or whenever they come out on a PC, but it's not coming out for the PlayStation 4 and whatnot. So that's really the real reason, or the real thing where that's at. I know this is not the character. It cannot be. I knew it. So that's my take on that. With a hub being bigger, adding much more interactive stuff, and being able to, fill up, the screens, but basically make the characters shine, make the moves shinier, make everything look, I don't know, the next. So that's to be taken into consideration. Now, another thing to take into consideration is licensing. Xenoverse definitely does its own thing with the characters that are owned by the anime. So you have to know that Xenoverse 3 will be in tune with the release of Dragon Ball Super Part 2. If Super Part 2 does not get released, basically, by 2024, then Xenoverse 2 will not get released in 2024. It will more than likely get released in 2025 when Dragon Ball Super finally does get this anime counterpart of the moral arc and so on. Think about it that way. I want to touch upon something. Now, follow me here. Xenoverse has done something weird where the RNG system is very much a thing that's very notorious. And because this game has changed completely, believe it or not, Xenoverse didn't have any much RNG besides, of course, the character, besides like you unlocking the special moves and things like that. But there's a lot of things that I can see them turning into an RNG based kind of stuff. And that could be essentially the things that we would like to do in regards to customizations for the character. That in itself can be very hazardous for the game. And I want to tread this water carefully because it's something that can very much happen. And here's what I'm talking about. I did mention this the last stream. Imagine Xenoverse gives you, right, all characters for free, right? All characters come with a base stock of moves, right? As the CHC, you could unlock all those moves, so on and so forth. That the base roster / character rosters that you buy, unlock, etc., so on and so forth. The thing is, there's base moves, and then there's the RNG moves and all that shit or whatever that will come down the line. And when I say that, obviously, you already have that whole system already in place. They already do it. So when you do the parallel quest, you have to go ahead and do the parallel quest a few times. Hopefully you'll get the move first few times, or you could be there 2 hours trying to get the same move, right? But when they go ahead and release a new character, I think that what they're gonna end up doing in this is something that could possibly happen in the future, is that instead of releasing new characters, they can release like new fighting styles and new movesets for that character, and that moveset for that character or whatever, or that fighting style for that character, can be locked behind basically grinding TP medals and spending them in an RNG system kind of thing while you're blowing your TP medals in here trying to unlock certain moves. It could literally turn into some Chrono Crystal kind of shit. Now, I'm not saying that you're going to get stuck to a point where you're like, well, I can't grind TP medals and all that good stuff because you are spending $60, $70 on the game. Nonetheless, the TP medal grind is going to be way less versus if you had a Xenoverse season pass or some shit like that. Like for that season, which gives you an extra 20, 40 TP medals, an extra 100 TP medals, you know, and things like that. And then you could do, and look, the reason why I mentioned this is because Street Fighter V, which is a wholehearted street fighting game. When I say street fighting game, it's a 2D game, has literally adopted this kind of thing with the alternative costumes for the characters that you play with, and certain things that certain maps, certain things were locked behind fight points. Now, it's not incredibly a large amount of fight points, but it's still basically you have to play the game and do ranked and do missions and do certain things or whatever in order for you to go ahead and get those fight points and use those fight points in order to get a chance to get at those costumes. In that example, I could play it easily. If you want Goku, if you want to use Goku with, let's say, his tore up gi or something like that, it's going to be under an RNG kind of thing, for example. That's what I'm saying. Like those kind of things, those kind of customizations may end up being pretty much the culmination of all the little RNG systems that we have already sitting in here. So for the move sets, it's going to be set up for that. It's going to be set up for customization partners and all that good stuff. Easily, there's going to be a lot of people that could easily spend money on this game. That's the best way to explain it. If they go that route, there's going to be a lot of things that you will have to unlock in order for you to have not a good time, but to have the right move set up, which is already set there because when you customize this character, look, here's an example. When you customize this character, I go to change skill set, right? These are the skills that I have, but the moment I go here, I still have to pay TP medals for all these moves. Thinking that all characters are going to come stock with a certain move set, and then the rest of their moves are going to be locked behind either TP medals or some kind of other payment. And that right there is the point of what I said, that it can be a very slippery slope that Xenoverse could go down in that regards if that happens. Nonetheless, I don't know. If they haven't done it they've done it basically with the new characters that they've released here. And it seems that it's worked for them. I just hope that doesn't turn around and turn into them basically going that route completely for Xenoverse 3. It's a slippery slope that they can go down, and I think that every single character that Xenoverse 2 has is going to probably be translated over to Xenoverse 3. But I think that ultimately the move sets and everything else that surrounds Xenoverse 3 is going to be probably locked behind TP medals and grinding and doing things like that. You're going to have to pretty much grind for that in regards to those particular characters, original characters. Now, in regards to getting clothes and getting things like that, like you do for Xenoverse 2, all that is going to be the same. And I think that that's ultimately where it's going to be a good compromise where the original cast characters, you'll be able to play as the other style of their characters by unlocking their customizations and all that good stuff, and that will give you things like that. I think it's a good segue to be able to entice you to use your TP medals outside of the normal things, and that's it. That's all I got. Love you guys. Y'all already know. Holla at me, and I'll catch you guys on Wednesday for the live stream. Catch my videos throughout tomorrow and Tuesday, because we got a whole bunch of JoJo's All-Star Battle R content also coming soon. You already know. That's it. I'm out.